All right, you are live streaming.
All right, we can call the meeting to order for the McKenzie River Charter School Board meeting at 5:33. Consent agenda, adoption of agenda at today's meetings along with approval of minutes from the 12th. Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve
Kelly,
the minutes.
motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Melanie seconds. Do we have any? Because Sean's not here, is he? So we need to have somebody taking notes. Who's a good note taker? Does anybody want to volunteer?
That would normally be me, but I have no way to take notes right this minute.
The meeting is also being recorded.
Oh, okay, so Lane, do we need to take handwritten notes?
Well, we could.
I can try. I've got a pen and a paper. So who seconded that?
Melanie.
Me.
Okay.
You know, for taking notes.
All right.
All right. So reports and discussions. Director's report. It's you, Lane.
Okay, so there's a few things going on right now. I'll keep it pretty quick. So we're still wrapping up planning on our blueprint, operational blueprint to open school back up in the fall. You all probably saw about that starting the year, at least for the first month, online. There's more logistics to go through with that. We'll be ready. So this is where I hope you guys can mark your calendar for the 12th, because I have to present our operational blueprint to the board. So I figured I should present it to both boards, and then that way you guys know it's not an action thing. You don't have to, you just have to see what we have and give input if you want.
What time is that on September 12th?
We're thinking 5, so I'll get the agenda shot out tomorrow at the minimum.
On August 12th or September? Yeah, August 12th.
August 12th. Yep. Okay. I have to go get something out of the oven real quick. I'll be like, give me like 2 seconds. Otherwise, the house will burn down.
I did that with pizza bites a while back. They were pretty much charcoal.
So yeah, sorry about that. Thank you for being patient. So you know, kind of in a nutshell, what'll happen with this year? So we'll start back this first month, keeping track of those metrics that I mentioned, that I shared in the link there in the chat. So we have to meet. So as a state, before everybody can come back, we have to have less than 5% positivity rates on all the tests that are given. And that has to be in place. We have to meet that for 3 weeks. And then in order to come back to school as a county, to have everybody come back, the target's below 10 per 100,000 residents. There are exceptions. So in order to have K through 3 in some small group instruction, the criteria is set at 30. So technically in Lane County, we could probably bring back our K through 3 students. Just got done with a call with the other superintendents, and the county's kind of like, 4 or 5 districts are going to try to bring them back. I think it's prudent to hold off for that first month to see how things go, see how the numbers go, and then that'll give us some more time to plan and get in things ready for people to come back to campus. At that point, if social distancing is still in place, we'll have to do probably cohorts with like an A day and a B day, and have some students attend, 2 days a week, another set of students attend another 2 days a week, until social distancing stuff is removed. Our classrooms are too small to have that many students in that we have class wise. I think in the high school, I think the max we can do in one of the rooms like 16. In the elementary, it's a little bit better. But I'll have more details to share on that when we meet on the 12th with the district board too. The other thing we got going on is last board meeting, the district board decided to move forward with a bond, to move forward with the bond election in November. So it's pretty exciting. So then we've talked a little bit about that on and off throughout the year. We've had through the TAP grant, we did the facilities assessment, we did a long range facilities plan, working on seismic assessments, and then environmental hazards. So through the bond, the hope is to ask voters for 15 million. We'll get a 4 million match from the state because we were awarded the Awesome grant. So it'd be about a $19 million package, which would replace the elementary school, help with deferred maintenance. So get, painting, siding, heat, get some adequate ventilation, make sure our fire alarms are up to snuff, which we've been having some issues with that this summer. So it's a pretty exciting time. It's an interesting time to be going to voters for a bond, but if we don't go this election, we could lose out on that $4 million from the state. So, worst we can do is ask. Makes it a little bit more complicated with people not being on campus, but eventually we'll be on campus and we'll be back, and the needs that were discovered through the facilities assessment, show that we're going to need to replace that building sooner or later. It's more cost effective, in my opinion, to replace it than to repair without even addressing the seismic issues. So those are the two big things that are going on right now. If you guys got any questions, feel free. There's just a lot of stuff going on that I think goes just hitting the two big things that are on the radar is really important for you guys to know. But yeah, any questions?
I kind of have one that's about, going back to school and doing the online thing. So and you might cover this on the 12th, but I don't know if I don't know where I'm going to be on that day. Are they going to do it similar to how they did it at the end of the school year? Or is it going to be a little bit more, how do I say this, organized or regular, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, it'll be more robust. We have some stronger guidance from the state about what they want to see. It won't be the pass no pass. It will be graded.
Okay.
It'll be more synchronous, so it'll be more live stuff.
Okay.
Interacting with the teachers.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a really good question. So it won't just be like it was getting through the end of the year. It'll be some
Right. Okay. And then going back to school, it just depends on what the stats are and the metrics are and stuff. So are you just going to look at the end of September, and if our metrics aren't there, just make a decision for the rest of the semester at that point? Is that
I think we'll have more conversations about that, I think, in the next few days. Okay. I think giving those first few weeks at least to kind of see how the things are starting to trend. The hope is that things are trending well, and if we're not to that 10 per 10,000, but we could potentially meet the exception, and we all feel as a community comfortable, we could probably bring back the younger kids sooner.
Okay.
And then, once we're able to meet the overall metric, which allows 4 through 12. But I do think once we get closer to that last week, we should have a more long range guidepost, I think, or mile marker that we should probably establish, so that way it's not a week by week concern.
Okay.
The-
All right.
Yeah,
I've
the
just
one-
kind of
the one-
heard some-
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was
So
just
that-
saying, I've just kind of heard some buzz of some parents are concerned about how robust it's going to be. And I'd hate to see them leave our district to go and do other online programs, because then we lose that count, that funding. And then if they decide to come back, it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of headache. And so that way I can be more informed if anybody asks questions.
And just it's just so folks know, I think up until last Tuesday when the governor's new metrics came out, the plan was, I think we were looking more hybrid,
Mhm.
having kids be here. So then, we haven't got a lot of messaging out about what online school will look like. So, if you hear people talk, just let them know that it's going to be more robust than it was in the spring.
Okay.
Just because also, A, we want to have higher quality, but B, we're also have higher standards given to us by the state.
Mhm. Okay, good. Thanks.
Keep in mind the testing too is still restricted to first responders and those that have symptoms, like significant symptoms.
Mm.
So the chances of that positivity rate coming down because of mass testing is not as likely right now. So until they start doing mass testing, that's the other struggle we have.
Yeah.
So
Any other questions? And if you guys always know, if you think of something, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. The more, questions I get from other folks makes answers better for everybody. So, if you're up late thinking about things, shoot me an email, shoot me a text. That way we can have some really good thoughts about where we're going.
financial report.
Okay, well, let me pull it up. Lane, did you send it out to the board?
I did not. I got the email and left and spaced it. I will do that now. Sorry, Lacey.
Do somebody
Okay.
start sharing? Do you want to share, Lacey?
What?
You want to share your screen?
Just let Lane send it out. I'll tell you right now. I'm looking at it. Nothing really changed. We have $5,150 in our bank account and 1 cent. We received a check for $389.30 in July. That was a check that the student body cut us for the Bigfoot fundraiser. So that's what we pulled off the square from that event. And then once Pam reconciled that, she was able to send it over. So that's the only new thing.
Did you guys get that email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it.
Is there still core money in here too?
Yeah, it's on the bottom. I think there's
Okay.
$2,201.26.
Didn't
Yeah,
see
and
it.
that hasn't changed. I haven't received anything or wrote any checks for them recently.
I'm guessing they don't have any plans.
Have any what?
They probably don't have many plans right now to do a whole lot.
No, and I don't know. I don't think they're meeting. I haven't heard anything about them still meeting. I know I have the date on my calendar, the reoccurring one, but I haven't gotten any notifications or anything from them about actual meetings taking place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last I heard, they were kind of on hold. So
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. And we're approaching September is the last month of our implementation grant that we received, that big $450,000. So we're working on spending that money down. The state does not want us to return any of that money to the feds. So I don't think we're gonna have a problem spending it. I have some plans in place to take care of it, and we don't have a whole lot left. So that will all be done. And then from there, we'll have a year end or a year end of the grant report, or I will have an end of the grant report, and then that one will be all closed out. There was no carryover. There's no chance of getting that grant again. It will be done in September, and that'll be that.
Budget Finance Committee.
Yep, has not met due to it not being budget season and COVID-19.
And I think if any budget stuff, we're just kind of waiting on the state to meet in August. And if there's any changes at that point, then we'll have to go from there.
Yeah.
As it's looking going into, so they'll have a special session August 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Going into it, it looks like we have some really good assurances that our state school fund levels won't be too hard hit. With a question mark right now is the SIA investments that we'd planned on. That we only might get a third of that money, depending on what the revenue is. And I think high school success money should be about the same. But I think they're really going to dip into the reserves and try to keep things kind of even until we see what happens when things start opening back up, when we can open back up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a couple small grants that are on the chopping block from the state, and they were biennium grants, so we figured on carryover into September, and now they're frozen and we can't spend them. So hopefully that gets resolved and that money's still available too.
What about, like, a question for you on lunches? Are you gonna have to do lunches like you did at the end of the year last year?
Yep.
I figured.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is like, like the transportation and the delivering to folks worked well, since we don't have like, a town hub, it's not like go downtown to the park, everybody can walk to the park. But if there are other delivery methods that might be worthwhile, different sites or something that you guys think might work better than the door-to-door delivery, let me know. It's something to think about before we put all our eggs in that delivery basket.
I think they did a good job delivering. I know several times they got here a lot later than they anticipated. So I don't know. It sounded like some of the families ahead of us were really late getting to their spot. So, I mean, the girls that we dealt with did a good job doing it, and they were trying to always let us know where they were at. But I guess that could be one thing that we try and figure out how to get better, I guess, for people. Because there's going to be a lot of people trying to work from home at the same time they're trying to get deliveries of food, as well as their kids being in classroom on the computer. So I don't know how that looks or what that looks like, but.
Good point. We'll sit down and we'll talk about some of that tomorrow. We'll get the ball rolling on what that'll look like with Kelly. But yeah, it's good. It's a good point.
501c3 governance committee, probably nothing there.
No, we have some. They're already sending me stuff for like our 990, and our fiscal year ended in June. So some of that stuff is coming up now to figure out, but nothing too exciting.
Curriculum committee.
Has not met due to COVID-19.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But I'm sure we will once we go back. We'll have a lot to talk about.
I mean, is there a way that you guys can meet via Zoom once the school season kind of starts? Is there a possibility to do that?
Mm-hmm.
That way you can kind of get ahead of it and not be behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, just it was summer and people had, family
The
health
abrupt change.
stuff, so we just didn't.
Yeah, the abrupt change at the end of the year didn't help because they were all scrambling to get things done. But community outreach committee.
Yeah, I don't think they're meeting, so nothing there.
I don't see any action items. Do you have any action items, Lane or Lacey?
No.
No.
Any charter board comments?
I just have a quick question about transportation when we do start. What's the outlook for that?
So that's probably the most, how do I want to put it? The
Challenging.
most difficult, the most challenging aspect. So I think what we will try to do is see how many families can and will transport. And then we'll make sure that there's at least 3 feet spacing with masks on buses. That's kind of the happy medium. So like you think like, a big bus is about a 70-person bus. They're anywhere from like 68 to 74 or 72 passenger. If you did the 6 feet, that would give you about 6 kids a bus. If you did it to 3 feet, you could get, about 28. So I think if we did the cohorts and kind of split the district and then had multiple routes on each end, I think we can do a good job of keeping that number not at the, definitely not at 70, getting, a little closer to that 28, but not running buses with only 6 kids. So I think there's ways, and there's family groups. So family groups, brothers and sisters can sit together. So we might be able to look at the routes and cluster folks in. So that way we do have better spacing between other uncohorted kids in their homes. So, my hope is we can do it safely and keep the same amount of people employed doing it while making sure kids are safe and have enough room on the bus. But that is the most challenging part of all of this. And that was the first question districts and superintendents asked when the state started talking about this. And it's not really evolved much between, hey, 6 feet, 3 feet, you guys make the call.
Yeah.
Lane,
I assume that
Lane,
they'll be wearing masks at school.
Pardon?
I assume they're wearing masks at school too.
Yeah, K-12, the guidance is from the governor, students and all staff, face coverings.
and Lane, if, I'm just going to throw it out there again. If it's helpful for us to throw our buses and vans in the mix, Gary's got a commercial driver's license. I can get a commercial driver's license. And our vehicles don't require that, but if it's helpful for us to throw those in the mix, we're happy to help out. So.
Any other comments? Future agenda, special joint meeting with district August 12th. I won't be there at 5. We got junior golf till 5:30 or so. So I'll try and get on after that. But next meeting's what, September 1st?
Right now, we'll still plan to meet via Zoom. Unless something changes. So I think next month, looking ahead, it might be the month where we do officers. So be thinking if you want to, someone wants to take over a chair or other roles or want to keep your role. So be thinking about that. And I'll look ahead and see what else is on there and get that out to you a little more timely. Sorry, this got out only 24 hours in advance. It's been fun trying to keep track of everything, and so my apologies for coming out a little late.
When is enrollment?
Registration is usually maybe that 3rd week.
Yeah, I think it's the 18th, 19th, 20th is when we would normally do it.
Are you going to roll that out through online, kind of like you did the meal stuff? Is that your plan?
Yeah, it's not going to be in person.
Well,
yeah, we're gonna have to meet with and talk with our vendor for our school information system and see if there's a way that we can do it easily online. We could do it that way through their product, or we might just have to do a Google form and just have people fill it in and go from there. But yeah, well, the much as we can keep folks out of the building, the better. And
they'll be having a full schedule, right? Math, science, English, are they doing all classes?
Yeah, we're going to do a shift to kind of a 4x4. So then the first semester will actually be a year's worth of credit. So they might not have English and math first semester, but they'll probably have one or the other of the core classes. So they should have 4 classes per semester. And the thought with that being, when we go hybrid and have kids on campus, the more the transitions we can eliminate, the better it is for everybody and spreading germs. So it'll be a little bit different. It's not going to be the 7-period schedule that we've had, every day, each day.
And rotating in and out of classes.
Yeah.
Right.
So does that mean it's like a 2-hour or a 4-hour day, basically? Is that what you're kind of looking at?
No, they have extended periods.
Be a longer period because you have to have enough minutes to count for the credit. So they should get a year's worth of work done that first semester.
That'll be tough for elementary kids.
Not for elementary.
Oh, okay. So I'm
For
saying
so-
Kids, yeah.
Sorry,
gonna-
so it'll look more like a block schedule.
Yeah.
Eventually a block. I think right now we'll just start with a straight 4. And then when we go hybrid, then transition to an AB 4x4. So it'd be,
Okay.
first period, second period on A day, third period, fourth period on B day. And then they rotate.
So how do our electives going to work? Like shop class electives?
That's a good question, Josh.
I might have a project you can do.
There are some under those exemptions, I think we can allow some on-campus stuff, but we haven't chased that down the rabbit hole yet of what that'll look like.
If there's a way to do it and you need a project, let me know.
We're doing rock picking in the front yard.
No. I'm putting up a little shed.
Ooh, okay.
I got to build it myself, but that could be something. If you have kids that want to do the elective and a shop class teacher, there might be some things like that in the community. The woods class, like that shop class, might be able to do as well. So just something to think about.
Put that in the back of my head, and then when we talk about what that can look like, I think TD might be up for that, but the travel off site would be
A liability.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it in other states. I mean, high schools build houses in a lot of other states, so
But
it's
not during a
pandemic.
with
Yeah.
the social distancing stuff. It's doable. It's just
So and there's other things in the community that could be done too, I'm sure. So just something
But thanks
they can still get their electives in.
Thanks for throwing that out there, though.
All right. I don't have anything else. Anybody else?
Nope.
Is there a motion?
I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
Fred, where you at?
I'll second.
I'm playing solitaire, probably. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Bye,
Fred.
guys.
Good to see you, Fred. I missed you.
I miss you too. I'll swing by and see you.
Bye.